The meeting of Christopher Columbus and the peoples of the New World marked the beginning of an era that was both transformative and devastating. When Columbus first set eyes on the Taino Indians of the Caribbean, he was profoundly moved by their kindness and simplicity. The Taino, for their part, initially believed that Columbus and his sailors were divine beings sent from heaven. Yet, within just a generation, this harmonious vision of the Taino world was obliterated. Disease, enslavement, torture, and warfare decimated their peaceful kingdom, leaving nothing but echoes of a once thriving civilization. Their vibrant culture, steeped in agricultural ingenuity and intricate social structures, vanished under the weight of European colonization. The Taino's plight serves as a grim reminder of the human cost of exploration and conquest, an echo of countless such stories across the Americas. The land Columbus called the New World was in reality a place of ancient heritage. Long before European ships crossed the Atlantic, this land was home to countless generations of indigenous people. Thousands of years prior, Ice Age hunters ventured east across the land bridge from Asia, discovering a continent covered in glaciers and teeming with majestic creatures such as great horned bison. As the ice receded, these nomadic tribes moved southward, following the rhythms of the seasons, the guidance of the stars, and the trails of animal herds. In time, they populated the towering mountain ranges, fertile river valleys, and painted desert canyons. They crafted diverse languages and customs, as intricate and vibrant as the feathers of the birds that soared above them. Yet, despite their differences, a profound spiritual connection to the earth united these tribes. This unity fostered innovations in agriculture, architecture, and governance, leading to the establishment of thriving civilizations such as the Maya, Aztec, and Inca in the south, and smaller, equally significant nations in the north. After millennia of growth and adaptation, European settlers arrived, driven by an insatiable hunger for wealth and power. This wave of colonization brought with it horses, guns, and diseases that would forever alter the fabric of Native American life. Believing it was their destiny to rule the land from the Atlantic to the Pacific, the settlers waged relentless war against the indigenous people. Over the course of centuries, 2 million Native Americans would endure unimaginable struggles, their freedom and way of life slowly extinguished as the white man's railroads, telegraphs, and mining operations swept across the land. The promise of progress for the settlers came at the cost of displacing entire cultures, devastating ecosystems, and obliterating languages and traditions that had flourished for thousands of years. Yet, the story of America is inseparable from the story of the American Indian. It was the indigenous peoples who taught European settlers the skills necessary to survive in this unfamiliar land. From these interactions arose a tapestry of stories and legacies belonging to some of the mightiest Native American nations. These nations not only resisted colonization, but also contributed significantly to the cultural and scientific advancement of the Americas. Indigenous agricultural practices, such as the Three Sisters farming method of corn, beans, and squash, were adopted widely, and indigenous knowledge of herbal medicine saved countless lives in the early colonies. Among these were the Iroquois Confederacy, a remarkable union of 6 nations in upstate New York. Known for their great lore of peace, they created a democratic system that would inspire American colonists as they shaped their own fledgling country. The Iroquois, consisting of the Mohawk, Oneida, Onondaga, Cayuga, Seneca, and later the Tuscarora, exemplified unity and resilience. Women held significant power in Iroquois society, appointing chiefs and ensuring their voices shaped decisions. Their festivals celebrated the bounty of the land, while wampum belts, intricately woven with beads, preserved their history and agreements. The Confederacy became a symbol of governance and collaboration, influencing political structures far beyond their own borders. Their success in diplomacy, trade, and maintaining peace among diverse groups made them a model of societal stability during a time of widespread conflict elsewhere. In the southern swamps of Florida, the Seminoles resisted U.S. expansion longer than any other tribe, forging a defiant legacy as the only Indian nation to never sign a surrender treaty. Emerging from a fusion of Creek refugees, runaway slaves, and other displaced groups, the Seminoles cultivated a unique and resilient culture. In the lush lands of Florida, they farmed crops, raised cattle, and celebrated life with vibrant festivals like the Green Corn Dance. Despite enduring 3 brutal wars against U.S. forces, they retreated deeper into the Everglades, preserving their freedom and cultural identity in the face of overwhelming adversity. Their ability to adapt to the swampy, inhospitable terrain became a key factor in their survival, and their legacy continues to inspire indigenous resistance movements today. The Navajo, too, endured tremendous hardship. From their origins in the canyons of the Southwest, they developed a way of life, intertwined with their arid homeland. Hogan dwellings, sand paintings, and spiritual ceremonies reflected their connection to the earth. The land was not merely a resource, but a sacred entity, integral to their identity. Yet when Kit Carson's Scorched Earth campaign forced them onto the long walk to Bosque Redondo, their resilience was tested like never before. Overcoming starvation and suffering, they eventually returned to their ancestral lands, vowing never to forget the fearing time. Today, the Navajo Nation remains a testament to their enduring connection to their homeland and cultural tradition. Their weaving, silversmithing, and oral traditions continue to thrive, preserving an unbroken link to their ancestors. On the Great Plains, the Cheyenne and Teton Lakota faced the full force of westward expansion. The Cheyenne, famed for their Dog Soldier warriors and spiritual Sundance ceremony, endured massacres such as Sand Creek and the Washita River. These events were marked by unspeakable violence, yet they also symbolized the unyielding spirit of a people determined to protect their way of life. The Teton Lakota, guided by leaders like Red Cloud, Crazy Horse, and Sitting Bull, fought tirelessly to defend sacred lands like the Black Hills. Their stunning victory at the Battle of the Little Bighorn became a symbol of resistance, even as subsequent betrayals and conflicts, including the tragic massacre at Wounded Knee, marked the end of their freedom. Despite these defeats, the spiritual and cultural practices of these nations persist, forming a cornerstone of their identity and resistance. The enduring spirit of Native American nations is exemplified in their contributions to the cultural and spiritual foundation of what is now the United States. The Iroquois Confederacy influenced democratic ideals that would shape American governance. The artistry of the Navajo, from intricate weavings to their spiritual sand paintings, remains revered. The defiance of the Seminoles, who never signed a surrender treaty, and the resilience of the Lakota, who fought valiantly to protect their sacred lands, stand as powerful reminders of indigenous strength. These legacies, though often marginalized, are woven into the broader American story. They inspire ongoing recognition of indigenous cultures and histories, serving as enduring testaments to a profound connection to the land and the unyielding spirit of its first peoples. Even today, Native American cultures continue to thrive, showcasing their resilience and adaptability. Across the continent, indigenous communities work to preserve their languages, ceremonies, and ways of life. From the preservation of sacred sites to the revitalization of traditional crafts and education. These efforts reflect a commitment to honoring the past while embracing the future. The stories of these nations remind us that their histories are not relics, but living narratives, shaping the identity of a nation that owes its foundation to the contributions and sacrifices of its first inhabitants. The resilience of these communities continues to teach lessons about sustainability, coexistence, and the enduring power of cultural identity.